Welcome to Henley Square, and thanks for joining us on this video tour. We're going to take a look at Henley Beach and Henley Beach South and look at all of the attractions of the area, some of the lifestyle aspects, the housing, etc. And particularly around Henley Square, the dining experiences, and talk to a couple of the business owners to get a really good idea of why Henley Beach is such a great place to live and come and enjoy.
What have you seen happen here over the last few years?
Well, when we first took over, it was ourselves and the Thai auction, and Burra had only been here for a year or so before us, and then everything just happened. So Stella opened up, and Henley on Sea around the corner where Morsca used to be, and then the fish and chip shop disappeared across the road there, and Zoots came in, and Evita was once an old bank, and it turned into a restaurant. We had a Westpac across the road that's gone. So look, some things have gone, some things have come, but generally it's become more of a dining sort of precinct.
Yeah. Down here in summer it's just a buzz. It's absolutely amazing. I love winter down here more than summer because it's just got a different environment. It's warm and cosy, and summer's, you know, fresh and bright and people running around everywhere. So and sand, lots of sand. So works really well with both aspects, with all the new development happening in the area. It's going to give the business another boom.
Are you mostly serving locals and regulars, or are you getting a lot of tourism here as well?
We get a little bit of tourism, probably not as much as I'd like, not as much as Glenelg. It's not really known as a tourist destination. I think the word's out now, and we do get a few tourists, especially probably more from the city than from our southerly cousins. They get directed down here. But mostly it's repeat trade. You know, I recognise most of the faces that come in this restaurant. Yeah.
We're touring along the seafront today at Henley Beach South through to Henley Beach. We've come from West Beach. We've just come off of Military Road and onto Seaview Road, and now we're heading on to the Esplanade at Henley Beach South. We've just crossed over the Torrens outlet. That's got a fabulous reserve area that follows that all the way to the city. The Torrens right up to the city, so you can get on your push bike or take a walk or a jog all the way up to the city and beyond, up to the hills, etc., all the way along that reserve area there. It's a fabulous asset to this area. Right now, again, we're on the Esplanade down Henley Beach South. This is an area that's incredibly familiar to me as a child, between the ages of about 11 and through to about 22. I lived at Henley Beach South on Seaview Road. These beaches are extremely well known to me because I spent so many days down here with my mates and my family, my sisters, etc., all enjoying this wonderful environment. West Beach, Henley Beach South and Henley Beach they are the closest locations to the city. Geographically, you can travel from the city to Henley Beach in around about 15 minutes or so by car quite easily. The beaches are very welcoming. They're not very prone to rips, although you'd always want to take the precautions that are obvious. But what it's proven to be in this area is a great attraction, particularly in recent years, residentially. There's been a huge amount of redevelopment, and as you drive along the seafront here, you start to see that the old homes that were once here, the old bungalows, etc., built back in the 1920s and 30s, have been demolished and replacing them as either one or two and sometimes three two-storey homes, luxury homes that would be in the price bracket of anywhere up and to and around $2 million for properties along this section of coastline here. Over the coming years, I'm sure a few more of these older homes will go, and pretty soon you'll see nothing but the newer type of development here. We're approaching the end of Henley Beach South, where it meets Henley Beach Road. It becomes Henley Beach proper, heading along the seafront still. We're just passing the Henley Hotel. It was Harvey's Henley Hotel when I was a kid. I knew Harvey's son, and we knocked around together a bit. So along this section of coastline, there's still a few remaining of the older homes but you see them up for sale, and sure enough you know that they can't be preserved forever. The value of the land is just too high these days for them to be so, and particularly as you get closer to Henley Square, the attractions of that are more and more prevalent in people's minds, and the value of your land goes up. The cafes just down the road, the jetty of course, the ability to take a walk on the beach and to go and have a coffee in Henley Square is really a great asset to the lifestyle here. Heading back now and avoiding the car park at approaching Henley Square, heading back to Seaview Road, and we'll head a little bit further along until we get around to Henley Square. You'll see it's not very far at all. And Henley Square particularly over the last 20 years or so has grown and grown in popularity. More and more restaurants there, more dining opportunities. The hotel, of course, the Ramsgate there has been done up significantly. There's a new apartment development nearby which is proving very popular, and that's going to bring more population again. In the streets that just go back from Henley Beach is where you find the bungalows of the 1920s and the occasional villa of the early 1900s. And of course later homes as well, as the land was further divided up or some of those older properties were developed. This particular street that we're about to head down now is East Terrace. Now East Terrace is one of those famous streets of Henley Beach. As you come down along East Terrace, you notice these Norfolk Island pines planted in the earlier part of the century really set this street off, and in such a magnificent way. It's always a real comfort to me to drive down here and be surrounded by these trees which seem to be in a giant way protecting the homes that sit below them. And if you look at the style of the properties, particularly around this area, as we come up to Main Street and the square, they're the older homes, the villas, etc. Reminds me of a couple of sales that I've conducted here. Fabulous auctions, always huge demand for these properties, and whether it be in Sussex Street or in other streets which are coming up to the beach, the little ones like that, or in this one here, Kent Street, etc. There's many others that hold beautiful homes in them. We've just headed away from Henley Square along Military Road, and we're heading in a northerly direction. Just about to come up to Star of the Sea School, where my sisters went as children. I missed out. I was a little bit too old by the time we came here. But by all reports, a fabulous school, and one that's a great asset to the area and for the people who live here. In fact, many buy in the area just to try and get their children into the local schools, and this one in particular attracts a lot of attention. School holidays now, so we don't have the delightful noise of all the children around the school at the moment, but you can certainly imagine that there's a great deal of activity in the summertime, and perhaps a little bit of a unique educational experience from the point of view you often see the kids head to the beach for their parts of their education, and I'm sure many people on the other side of town, kids on the other side of town, would be jealous at the cool breezes in the summertime and that come off that beachfront and fill the classrooms, as well as the ability to just duck around the corner at the end of the school day and perhaps go for a swim down on the beach here. Absolutely fantastic. And of course there is the opportunity to catch public transport and head up to the city and go to any number of schools there, but also in the area you've got great schools like Henley High here, which is off to our left. We've just come up Military Road and then headed up to Henley Beach Road, heading back towards the city now, going along Cudmore Terrace, and on our left hand side Henley Beach High. It's only back from the beach a matter of a few hundred metres, so again from the point of view of the luxury of the location, absolutely tremendous. Great reputation, Henley High, and along with St Michael's, which is a little bit further to the north here, form the backbone of the senior education opportunities in this area. Again, people will choose to move to this area just to get their children into those great schools for all the best reasons. They would want to live here from a lifestyle point of view, but also from an educational point of view. On our right hand side, further along Cudmore Terrace, St Michael's, fabulous grounds, great educational facility for the Catholic. It's a Catholic school, of course, and one of the few private schools along this section of coastline. So, but it is an excellent school and attracts a lot of people to make great use of its facilities. We're just heading back up to the beach, maybe to enjoy a coffee in Henley Square. I want to thank you for joining our video tour of Henley Beach today. It's certainly been our pleasure in bringing it to you. Remember, there's lots of other great videos of tours of areas that we'd love you to join us on. If you'd like to see those, just click here to see Port Adelaide. There's a couple of versions of that, which is well worth a look. If you'd like to see the ones of Semaphore, again, please click here and you'll be taken to those. We've also covered Largs Bay. Click here and that will take you there. We've West Lakes is also covered in a couple of videos. That's well worth a look. Please click here to go to that. And of course we've done Tennyson as well. Just click here and that will take you to the Tennyson tour. Tell your friends about it. We'd like to thank the people who contributed to our video today. It's certainly been our pleasure in bringing it to you, and we look forward to bringing you another tour along Adelaide suburban coastline, particularly these northwestern suburbs, in the near future. Thanks again.
Dig it. All right, let's rehearse it one more time. Yeah.